Hey there, it's me Eden. Welcome to Crossdressing Adventure Stories. Today I'm going to share with you cross-dressing adventure stories called Office Colleague Caught Me in Airport, Part 7. So, if you're new to the channel, then please consider subscribing and be a part of our inclusive community. Frank greeted Astrid in a friendly manner and examined Martina closely. Good morning, Martin. He greeted her rather quietly. Martina had a tight lump in her throat and just nodded. Then the elevator door opened and they went inside. Before the doors closed, the marketing director slipped into the elevator. He greeted friendly and looked at Martina longer, but said nothing. Martina's team was on the same floor as the marketing department and they also worked closely together, so he must have recognized her. Martina felt her knees would buckle and her face would glow like a red lantern. In addition, she got warm and she had the feeling that sweat was running down her forehead in streams. Astrid noticed how uncomfortable her friend's situation was, discreetly took her hand and squeezed it gently to encourage her. They all exited the elevator on the third floor and wished each other a successful day. The marketing director went to his office directly opposite and Astrid, Martina and Frank made their way to their workplaces. They all worked together in an open-plan office and so they stopped at Astrid's place first. Somehow I expected you to come out, but it still totally surprises me, Frank began. And what totally surprises me is that you don't look like a man in disguise, you're a really beautiful woman. Martina was relieved, smiled and breathed a thank you. Her voice wasn't capable of more. How come you're doing it now? He asked. Martina took a deep breath and looked at Astrid, who answered faster. I met Martina at the airport in Amsterdam the day before yesterday and we were out eating last night when she came back. I convinced her that there was no point in waiting any longer. The right time will never come. And so it's not Martin here today, it's Martina. Frank was satisfied with that. He gave Martina a friendly hug, then good luck that everyone accepts it as quickly as possible. From now on, will you always come as Martina? Martina shook her head, while Astrid nodded vigorously. Frank then had to laugh, then you should come to an agreement. He went to his desk and left the two alone. Martina glared at Astrid, but secretly she was extremely happy right now. If the outing to the other colleagues went even halfway as smoothly as with Frank, she would certainly go to the office more often than Martina. In the hour that followed, almost all the other team members came into the office and not one was really surprised at Martina's appearance or even rejected it. Astrid was right that Martina had already done a lot of preparatory work with her increasingly feminine style of clothing. At noon they all went to the canteen together. Martina had regained her confidence and was joking with Astrid, Katja and Simone. After taking their usual place with their trays, a colleague from another department joined them. Is it already carnival today? Or why did you disguise yourself as Tuck? He spoke to Martina so that almost everyone else in the canteen could hear it. Martina was completely flabbergasted and needed something to collect herself. No, as far as I know, carnival doesn't start until November. And I don't need a reason for myself and certainly not for idiots like you, she replied when she had composed herself. Simone and Katja started laughing out loud and Astrid looked at Martina in amazement. Loud approval came from the other tables as well. Hey, Bernd, after all, she's more of a woman than a man, someone shouted from further behind. Grumbling that he hadn't found a victim here, he left. Nevertheless, Martina had to put her cutlery aside first, so as not to rattle so loudly on the plate with her trembling. Astrid's hand stroked her thigh. I'm proud of you. From now on nobody will say anything anymore. Katja and Simone also encouraged Martina. Nevertheless, she still needed a few moments until she had calmed down inside. In the afternoon, there wasn't a bad comment in all the meetings, at which Martin was actually expected. A few colleagues expressed admiration for Martina's courage and also for her skillful styling. Nevertheless, shortly before closing time, she had an email from the HR department in her inbox asking for a personal interview. Martina called her human resources clerk, Ms. Cruz, and asked when she should come down. She was told to come right away. Martina became unsure again and her knees went weak. Still, she couldn't avoid it now. A few minutes later, she knocked on her clerk's door. "Come in, Mr. Seymour," she asked Martina. Martina involuntarily flinched, because the whole day she was only addressed as Ms. Seymour. She entered and was allowed to sit down. Ms. Cruz also examined Martina closely before she got to the point. "Mr. Seymour, we are a tolerant company, but showing up here dressed up like a drag queen without warning is overkill. I hereby give you a formal warning not to engage in this type of fetish during working hours in the future. Please sign receipt of the document on the duplicate." She got straight to the point. Martina was stunned. Almost everyone had praised her elegant and reserved outfit, and apart from the colleague at lunch, no one had complained. "May I ask who initiated this?" "I only got positive feedback all day," Martina objected. "And now I'd like your honest opinion on that too." "Yes, I'm styled as a woman, but am I walking around like Olivia Jones?" Martina asked. Now Mrs. Cruz obviously felt uncomfortable and tried to avoid both questions. Martina remained steadfast and did not sign the receipt for the time being. After a few minutes of mutual silence, Ms. Cruz then admitted, ashamed, "I'm not allowed to tell you who complained, but the instruction to issue a warning came from the HR department head. Personally, I have to admit that you make a very elegant woman and your demeanor is in no way intrusive or suggestive. There's no way you're a bird of paradise like Olivia Jones. But I can't just ignore the warning, you have to understand that." Martina nodded, read the acknowledgement of receipt again and crossed out the sentence that she could be terminated without notice in the event of a repetition. She noted the date and initials next to the deletion and then acknowledged receipt. With the warning in the envelope, she went straight to the Works Council. Although she has never had much contact with her colleagues, they immediately backed Martina and wanted to take action against the warning. Nevertheless, the Works Council suggested that she should rather come to the office, in the usual, familiar outfit, in the next few days. Martina smiled and agreed. That's all for today. Oh yes, you can find materials used in this video, like audio and images, here at buymeacoffee.com/crossdressing-stories. Link in the description. See you in the next video. Till then, take care and be safe. Please subscribe to my channel.